Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. So, let me ask some things from yesterday. Let's ask Kanchan. I mean, Gauri Devidasi, sorry.
It's okay, bro. You can say. Yes,
Okay, so what are some of the things which discussed yesterday which shows Duryodhan's diplomacy?
Hare
so
Krishna,
like,
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. You can give one instance
yeah, so
where Duryodhan's diplomatic behavior is kind of shown in the verses that we did till yesterday. I think we did till verse 14.
mhm.
So is there anything where Duryodhan's diplomacy is shown?
So like he
One instance, only one instance is good enough.
so like he goes to Dronacharya and told him, look at the armies of Pandus where that whose commander in chief is Drupad's son. So he wants to. He's not directly taking the Dushtimu name. He was taking the Drupad's son. But Drupad and Dronacharya was friend that became enemy. So he wants to instigate Dronacharya diplomatically. Like who is in your opposite.
Yeah, that's very good example. Yeah, twice he says the name of Drupad. Once because Drupad is there, and also he says, look at the army that is arranged by the son of Drupad.
But yeah,
He could have said
it's
Drishtadyumna.
Mun. Yeah,
Drishtadyumna was the commander in chief, but he said Drupad because he wanted Drona to feel little, fighting spirit.
but it instigate he
Mhm.
was instigate.
Okay.
Mm.
Anything else that shows Duryodhan's diplomacy? We'll ask Charuta. That was one instance. We discussed others.
I don't remember instance, but I remember qualities you had shared. Like he he wanted kind of followers, kind of prestige, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whose name did he mention who was not a great warrior, and why did he mention his name? To give you a hint, if you some warrior he mentioned who was not a great Maharathi, like very great, but he mentioned his name. And why did he mention his name?
He Bhishma? No, I don't know, Prabhu. I was listening while driving.
Yeah, yeah. We'll pass it on to Karuna.
Prabhuji, same state here, Prabhuji. Like Saturday, we are having program, Prabhuji. I was in listening mode when I was coming back
Oh,
from the
okay.
program.
Okay.
Can I say?
Yeah, Meera.
Is it Vikarna?
Vikarna, yes. He mentioned Vikarna's name, although he was
Because
not a such.
he was on Pandava's side one time, and then he wanted to basically he wanted to show that now you are in our side, and we value that you are also great warrior.
Yeah, he was not on Pandava's side, but
But
what
one
was
time he said something, right? He took their side that they were that. What was that you said? You said something that he said it is not right for Duryodhana what
Yeah,
he was doing.
Draupadi's case. Draupadi's.
He he
Huh.
he opposes the Kauravas when the Draupadi getting be disrobed.
Correct.
So yeah, that's why he was in the afraid he don't want Vikarna to go to Pandavas army. That's why he took his name.
Yeah, because it was understood that before the battle started, they would announce if anybody wants to change
Change
sides.
sides, yeah.
So then he was thinking Vikarna has a soft corner for the Pandavas. So he may go from one side to another side because already he protested when Draupadi's was being disrobed. He protested that Kshatriyas, when they gamble, uh, when they are influenced by lusty desires, they don't know actually what is happening. So in this state, they should not be, this is not right. So he was saying like that. And then, okay, so that's one. Another thing, how does he, what is another sign of diplomacy that Duryodhan shows? We talked about two commentaries of two acharyas. Who are they? And what is the word? Paryaptam and aparyaptam.
Paryaptam.
Yeah. So Baldev Vidya Bhushan, he is actually the disciple of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So both of the acharyas with different commentary. Baldev Vidya Bhushan and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on that verse. Which verse is it? Let's see. The verse is 1.10, where he uses the word aparyaptam. And aparyaptam has two meanings. If Bhishma hears it, what are the two meanings of aparyaptam?
If Bhishma hears that, that is more than sufficient, immeasurable, more than sufficient. Yeah.
And that interpretation is given by Baldev Vidyabhushan because Bhishma is a very, very strong warrior. He has Ichha Mrityu, and he
Mm-hmm.
also defeated his guru. I mean, his martial guru who taught him. Who was he? Who he defeated?
Parshuram.
Parshuram. Parshuram, who killed all the warriors, right? 21 times. That person was defeated by Bhishma, right? So Bhishma was such a tremendously very talented and very, very powerful warrior. So he says, yes, our strength protected by Bhishma is immeasurable. And whereas Bhim, Bhim is just like a fig before Bhishma. Bhishma's strength is so much. So he says, yeah, they are protected by Bhim, but their strength is limited. Bhishma is so. Now, hearing this, who would have felt bad? Hearing this statement, our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma. So
Dronacharya.
Dronacharya might have felt bad that, I am also very
Was
powerful. Of course, Bhishma was the veteran, he had Ichha Mrityu and all that. But he would have felt snubbed, right? By, okay, Bhishma is giving more importance to Bhishma. Then what about me? So then he used the word aparyaptam. So he can take it. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, um, he took it in another way. That is, our strength is not immeasurable, but
Limited, Prabhuji.
yeah, insufficient,
insufficient. Yes.
right? Our strength is insufficient because we are under Bhishma, whereas the strength of Pandavas, who is Bhim. Now, Bhim is not so strong like Bhishma. Bhishma is very like ferocious fighter. Bhim is also strong, but Bhishma has a soft corner for the Pandavas. So although his strength is he's very talented, but in enthusiasm, Bhim was very much burning, to kill all the all the Kauravas. Bhim had all taken three vows. What were the three vows Bhim had taken? Yesterday we discussed. So Bhim was all throughout his Agyatavas, he was like raring to go against the Kauravas. He was like ready to fight. And Bhim had taken three vows. What were the
To,
three vows?
to kill all the son of Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra. And
Yeah.
then
I will drink the blood of Duryodhana, isn't it? I'll
drink
drink
the
the
Dushasan.
blood
blood
for
of
the
Dushasana.
Dushasan.
hair,
Dushasan.
for the hair of Draupadi, isn't it?
Yeah, he'll drink the blood of Dushasan, break the arm of Dushasan, because that arm
Oh,
of Dushasan pulled the hair of Draupadi. So he said, I'll break the arm of Dushasan, I'll rip open his heart, drink all the blood, and that blood I will supply to Draupadi to put it on her hair, and then she will tie her hair. And then he would break the thigh of Duryodhana.
Yeah.
So
right,
Bhim
right.
was very like, he actually killed all the 100 Kauravas. So Bhim was very much. Bhishma was also a very great fighter, but he was not fighting to his best of his ability because he had a soft corner for the Pandavas. So Dronacharya, he might have taken it as our strength is insufficient because we are under Bhishma, who has a soft corner for the Pandavas, whereas Bhim, yeah, they have great strength. So then uh, that way he encouraged Dronacharya also. So anyway, these are some commentaries of different acharyas that we see. Okay. So we are on verse number. So when he goes to Bhishma and he says all these things, I mean, he's speaking to Dronacharya, he's speaking, everybody's hearing. And then Bhishma just takes his conch shell and he blows his conch shell. And so Bhishma, he was a great devotee. But why is he fighting against the Pandavas? Why is Bhishma fighting against the Pandavas? He's a great devotee. He should be fighting with Krishna. So what are the reasons why Bhishma is fighting against the Pandavas?
Because he vowed to be loyal to the Hastinapur.
He had taken a vow to be,
Wow, yeah.
to be loyal to the king of
Loyal.
Hastinapur. So although he didn't want the fight, I mean, but it was unstoppable. And another thing, Bhishma also wanted to show that no matter how great you are, if you are fighting against Krishna, if you are opposed to Krishna, you will be vanquished. Because he was such a great warrior. If you are opposed to Krishna, we cannot win. Unless in Vrindavan, right? You're in Vrindavan and Krishna is playing with his cowherd friends. And so we'll discuss that also later on. How Krishna is Bhakta Vatsal. But generally, you cannot win against Krishna. So he wanted to show that even though Krishna is not going to pick any weapon, and one was his allegiance to the king of Hastinapur, he wanted to show, and he wanted to enjoy the Viryaras. Viryaras means he wanted to reciprocate with the Lord in chivalry. So you cannot reciprocate if you're on the same side. So Bhishma's throwing arrows to Krishna is like throwing flowers to Krishna. And Krishna took it also like that. Krishna knew that Bhishma is a great devotee. He's one of the Mahajans. Bhishma is one of the Mahajans. Right? There are 12 Mahajans. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu,
Kapila, Nara,
Nara,
Kapila,
Kapila,
Prahlada,
Prahlada, Janaka, Bhishma,
Janak,
Balir,
Balir Vyasika Vayam.
Vayasaki, Vayam. Yes. So Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu. Swayambhu is Brahma. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu is Lord Shiva. Kumar, the four Kumaras, Kapila Dev, and Manu. Manu is Swayambhu Manu. Prahlad, Janak, and Bhishma. They are also Mahajans. And Bali Maharaj. Vyasaki is. Who is Vyasaki?
Yasdev? No, I don't know.
Shukdev Goswami.
Shukdev Goswami.
Hmm.
Yes. And then Vayam is, because Yamaraj is speaking this verse.
Yamraj.
So they are saying, I myself, Yamaraj, we are all the 12 Mahajans. So, yeah. Anybody like to say anything?
So the four Kumaras are considered one in the 12?
Yeah, Kumara, Kapilov, they are four. Yeah, they're all self-realized, all the four together. I mean, it's a group. So ultimately, you could say it'll be 15, right? Because there are four of them. So,
So Janak is Raja Janak, Sita's father. That
yes,
Janak? Okay.
yes. In the Bhagavad Gita, also Krishna says that kings like Janak, they attain perfection. In many people in the past, by their devotion to me, attain perfection. And he cites the example of Janak Maharaj. So, okay. And to encourage Drona, also Duryodhan mentions Kripacharya. Kripacharya's and Drona, I think Kripacharya's sister is married to
Kripi. Kripacharya sister Kripi married to Dronacharya.
Dronacharya. So, and Ashwathama. So, he's also in this way encouraging everybody. So in this way, he's diplomatic. What other example of diplomacy we gave? Of course, this is all Mahabharata, but since we are discussing anyway, what other diplomatic behavior we discussed yesterday, that because of which somebody came on the side of Duryodhan? Who was coming? And then what happened on the way? And they changed the side.
Shalya.
Huh?
King
King Shalya.
Shalya. So, like, of course, we can go into Mahabharata. There'll be so many things to discuss. Shalya, yeah. Shalya also actually was coming. He's described as the uncle of the Pandavas. He's the brother of Madri.
Nakul and
Madri.
Sahadev's maternal
Yeah,
uncle. Yeah.
yeah. So he is the uncle. So he had come to fight for the Pandavas, but actually on the way, Duryodhan made such nice arrangements and he won over Shalya. And Shalya said, I will do anything, whoever has done such nice arrangement. So then he got him also. So everybody was going to perish, Prabhupada says, because they were fighting against Krishna and they had taken side of Duryodhan because he was very sinful. Okay, so let's see where, yeah. So 1.14, I think that's where we are. So now Bhishma blew his conch shell, and when he blew his conch shell, it signified the start of the war. Like when we Aarti is starting, we blow the conch shell. Okay, now Aarti is starting. So similarly in the war, you know, actually one devotee was saying that in Vrindavan, Vrajvasis don't like to hear the conch shell blowing. Why? I mean,
The Krura came to
yeah,
take away
because
Krishna.
Akrura came and he took away Krishna. So at that time he blew the conch shell. And so they think Krishna is going to go away. So they don't like. But of course, in our temples, we do blow conch shell like that. But I heard some devotee was saying like that. So anyway, so the conch shell was blown and Bhishma blew his conch shell and it sounded very, very like it is described like it gave the roar of a lion, making a sound like the roar of a lion. Duryodhan was very happy that Bhishma, giving aside his, putting aside his affection for the Pandavas, has decided to fight. And when Bhishma blew his conch shell in 1.15, 1.13, everybody else also started blowing their conch shell. So many warriors were assembled on the battle of Kurukshetra to fight. And then it was so loud, tumultuous sound because everybody was blowing their conch shell. And on this side, Krishna and Arjun. So this is the first time when Krishna is coming into the Bhagavad Gita, is in 1.14. Like the focus shifts from Kaurava's side. Bhishma is blowing his conch shell, everybody's blowing, and then suddenly the camera goes to the Pandava side, and it first goes to Krishna. Like if you read the verse 1.15, on the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjun, seated on a great chariot, drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shell. So the charioteer of Arjuna is mentioned. There, before the charioteers of Bhishma and Drona are not mentioned because Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and he is going to impact. Why we are interested in the battle of Kurukshetra, Prabhupada says, because Lord Krishna is present. Wherever Lord Krishna is present, then we are interested in that subject. So, and of course, Bhagavad Gita is going to be spoken. So, the chariot that Arjuna had was given by Agni. The horses were given by Chitrarath, and Indra had given him. Indra is the father of Arjuna, and he had given him the, what do you call that? Where you put the arrows. What is the name? Um,
Quiver.
quiver. Yes, the quiver and the arrows. Yeah. So they were given by Indra. So Prabhupada says, yeah, and their conscials are described as divine, transcendental. So wherever Krishna is there, then is described as Madhava. Now in this word, in this chapter, there will be so many terms: is Madhava, Madhusudana, Govinda, Rishikesha, Achyuta. So Madhava is, what is the meaning of Madhava?
In this context, Lakshmi's husband, because
Yeah. Yes, Madhava is the husband of the goddess of fortune. So he's present there, as Prabhupada says in the purport. So naturally victory will be there, was waiting for Arjun. So, and all the other things were donated by. Okay, so going, so this sounded their transcendental conscience. And what are the names of their conscience are given in verse number 15. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Paudram Dadmau Mahashankham Bhima Karma Vrikodaraha. So Krishna is described as Rishikesh. What is the meaning of Rishikesh? One who is the
Master of the senses.
master of the senses. So Arjuna is going to be bewildered, but because he is a pure devotee, his senses are going to be directly controlled by Krishna. Prabhupada writes that for a pure devotee, the senses are directly controlled by Krishna. And so he's going to get guidance. So Panchajanya, Devadat, and all this different. So Arjuna is going to get direction from Rishikesh. And Bhima is described as Vrikodara. What is the meaning of Vrikodara? One who eats.
Lot.
rashes.
One who eats a lot. You know, we have Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi because Bhim could not observe any Ekadashi.
Yeah.
So he was told to do. That's Pandav is that Bhim Nirjala Ekadashi also we say. So he was eating a lot. So he was eating a lot, but he was doing also Herculean service for Krishna. So sometimes if you eat a lot, then you have to do big things for Krishna. Prabhupada said, he gave I was hearing lecture, he was saying, Pete khele, pite shoy. He says, pete means in the stomach, if you eat nicely, then on your feet, you should also carry heavy burden for Krishna. Like that he was saying. I remember. So, yeah, so they blew their conch shell, and what effect they had on the other party. So
Prabhuji, are you sharing your screen?
I'm not sharing, but if you can also on your side, you can maybe
Yeah, sure.
see the verses. I can share also. Let me see.
It's fine, Prabhu.
Yeah, so 1.15. So Krishna is called as Rishikesh and Bhima is called Vrikodara. Okay, and Arjuna is called Dhananjaya because he went out in search of wealth for the yagna and he got so much wealth to do the yagna. Okay, so Prabhupada says Krishna has many names in relation to his devotees. There are primary names and there are secondary names of Krishna. Primary names are names in relation with his devotees. So he has Devki Nandan, Yashodanandan, like that. Govinda also. And Prabhupada says his name is Madhusudan. What does Madhusudan mean? One who killed?
Madhu demon.
Madhu demon. Madhu demon.
And doubts are like demons.
Mm.
So Arjuna will say many times, Madhusudan. Why Madhusudan? Because he's having some doubts. So he's saying, okay, you can kill my doubts. Doubts are like demons. Another time he will use Madhusudan is to say, you killed Madhu, who was a demon. Why are you asking me to kill my family members? Oh, Madhusudan, why you are telling me? So in that way also he will use Madhusudan. Madhusudan also means, Madhu means, we also read that Madhu means honey. and everybody's false ego is as sweet as honey. So Krishna, who is Madhusudan, he will destroy the false ego. Everybody thinks they are very great, and we are all in the we have a lot of pride and all that. So Krishna as Madhusudan will also smash our false ego, the pride due to false ego. So he's called Madhusudan. So like that, there are different names of Krishna. Devkinandan, Rishikesh, Parthasarthi. Okay. So you should read the purports also. I means we have to go a little bit faster also because we have 700 verses in the Bhagavad Gita to cover. Okay, so we are on 16 through 18. So everybody blew their conch shell. Afterwards, Yudhishthir blew and Nakul, Sahadev, all that. Okay, and conch shell is a sign of, it's for Vishnu. It's the symbol of Vishnu. It's like he holds it. So it was already predicted that they would be. And when they blew their conch shell, this is it shattered the hearts of the Kauravas. Prabhupada says, when Bhishma and Drona blew the conch shell, there was no such thing happening for the Pandavas. But when Pandavas and Krishna blew their conch shell, it shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So there's a nice statement Prabhupada writes in the purport. One who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord has nothing to fear, even in the midst of the greatest calamity. Because Pandavas had their confidence in Lord Krishna, and one who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord has nothing to fear, even in the midst of the greatest calamity. Because they will feel protected. They will feel protected. And who is the example of that? Who didn't feel, who always felt Krishna's protection?
Prahlad.
Prahlad.
Prahlad. Srila Prabhupada also said, one time Bhakti Charu Maharaj told him when Prabhupada was alone in America before, right? He was just wandering and he had no like support. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj told Srila Prabhupada that, I wish I was there with you at that time when you were all alone. Now you have so many disciples and yeah, like that. But that time, because one time Prabhupada, when he was in his last days of his manifest Leela, Bhakti Charu Maharaj was in the room and he was doing some service for Prabhupada. And at night, he observed there was a window, and then other devotees were looking inside, looking to get a glimpse of Prabhupada. And so Bhakti Charu Maharaj thought that there are so many devotees who want to serve Srila Prabhupada. So he told Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, if now there are so many disciples to serve you, but during that time when you were alone, I wish I was with you. And Prabhupada said, I was never alone. I always felt the presence of my spiritual master, presence of Krishna, like that with me. So we may be going through so many difficulties and situations, but if we take shelter of Krishna, and especially we take shelter of Krishna in this age through the names of Krishna, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So as soon as we have difficulties, we should chant the names of Krishna. Of course, we are always in difficulty. So we should take shelter of Krishna through the holy name. Because he is very easily accessible anywhere and everywhere. So then even in the greatest calamity, we will be protected. And the protection doesn't mean that necessarily our body will be protected, but our consciousness will be protected. We say like that. Sometimes Krishna may protect. Sometimes Krishna may give us some, what you can say, some difficulty. Why would he give us some difficulty? To remove the last vestiges of attachment in this world that we have. Sometimes Krishna may give us some, like for Indra, he humiliated Indra. He protected the Vrajavasis, but at the same time, he protected Indra also, because Indra had become very proud. So to protect him from his own pride, Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill to protect the Vrajavasis and to also protect Indra. So Krishna will purify us. If we take shelter, that is also his protection. He will arrange situations in our life so that we can come closer to him. And in that situation, if you remember Krishna, then okay, so everybody was doing that. Let me put the clock here. Time. Okay, now at that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, I am on 1.20, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. So now Arjuna has lifted his Gandiv. At the end of first chapter, he is going to put aside his Gandiv. Right? He has gone, he has taken up his Gandiv because the conch shells have been blown and now the fight is ready to start. And he has a chariot on which Krishna is personally present and Hanumanji is on the flag. So Prabhupada says, in the previous battle also with Ravana, Ram and Hanuman were there and they conquered Ravana. So now Arjuna has both Krishna, who is Ram, and Hanumanji is on the flag. So he's definitely going to be victorious. And these are all warriors who had come. I was reading Bhurijan Prabhu's commentary, Surrender Unto Me. And he was saying that everyone was very eager to fight. It was not like in Vietnam War, when Prabhupada came to America, there was Vietnam War going on. It was not like people were being forced, dragged into fighting. No, here everybody had the mood and like the vigor and the zeal to fight. So they had come from all the places. Just like in Mayapur during Gaur Purnima, all devotees come from all over the world. If you go to Mayapur during Gaur, or if you go to Kartik, if you go to Vrindavan during Kartik, all the devotees come. So all the people had assembled from all the different places. And they were all ready to fight. So they are all Kshatriyas. So there is a story of how Hanuman happened to come on the flag of Arjun. So what happened one time, Bhim, they were all in Badrik ashram, Bhim and all the Pandavas, and Arjuna had gone to collect some weapons. So Bhim was there, Yudhishthir was there, all the other Pandavas there. And there is a beautiful river that flows in the Himalayas that is called the Alakananda River. Alakananda River. And in that Alakananda River, there came a lotus, which was 1,000-petal lotus. Very beautiful, very fragrant. It was such a nice lotus. Draupadi saw the lotus just like Sita saw the golden deer and said, I want that. I want to offer it to Yudhishthir. She didn't want for herself. And then when we go back, we are in the Himalayas, when we go back to our cottage, then, we can decorate. I want this lotus. This is very nice. Bhim said, I will go. So Bhim went with his club and he went trying to find where this lotus is coming in the river. And he was following that and he went up in the Himalayas where nobody ever went. And he uprooted trees with his club and all the animals and everybody was like, there was no man's land, nobody was there. And he went up very steep mountain. So as he was going, what happened? He saw a monkey sitting in the middle, old monkey. And this monkey is telling Bhim, why are you making so much noise and commotion and scaring all the animals? Bhim said, move aside. This monkey said, oh, I am too old to move. Bhim became very angry and said, no, move aside, because he didn't want to jump over the monkeys. He said, move aside. This monkey said, I am very old and very weak. I cannot move aside. If you want, you can move my tail. So Bhim said, okay. So he tried to move the tail and he couldn't move the tail. And then he was wondering, who is this person? I am so strong. And so who was that person? That was Hanuman. And then Hanumanji showed him the form, like his full form. And both Hanumanji and Bhim are sons of Vayu. And they both embraced each other. they offered blessings. And Hanumanji said, I will stay on the flag of Arjun. And whenever Bhim roars in the battle, like when he wants to kill his enemy, Bhim will shout. And at the same time, Hanumanji will also shout. So the combined effect of Bhim's shouting and Hanuman shouting will completely, just by hearing that sound, will terrorize the enemy. So in this way, Hanumanji was also kind of helping in the war. And that is how Hanumanji also came on the flag. This story is mentioned in the Surrender Unto Me by Gurujan Prabhu. It's a nice, I will send you the PDF. So it has nice flow of verses from one chapter to another, from one verse to another. So, okay. So now we are to 1.21. So we are going a little fast, but we have to. So Arjuna said, okay, let's see. Arjuna Uvacha, Arjuna is telling Krishna, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye, Ratham Sthapaya Mechuta. Please forgive my pronunciation. Some of you know Sanskrit better than me, but I am just trying. If Dravida Prabhu was there, then he corrected me. Senayor Ubhayor Madhye, Ratham Sthapaya Achyuta, Yavad Etan Niriksheham, Yodhu Kaman Avastitan, Kermaya Saha Yodhavyam, Aspin Rana Samudyame. He's telling, O Achyuta. Achyuta is the name of Krishna. Achyuta means, what is the meaning of Achyuta?
Infallible.
One who never
Infallible.
fails to protect his devotees.
One who never fails to protect his devotees, which Prabhupada says here in the purport. He never fails in his affection for his devotees, and thus is addressed herein as infallible. To say that Krishna will not protect his devotees, that is not correct. Krishna will always protect. And later on, Krishna will say, Kante prati janihi. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly, that my devotee will never perish. So if we become devotee of Krishna, we will never perish. Krishna will always protect us. Of course, we are all devotees already. So, and another meaning of Achyuta is one who does not come under the influence of Maya, under the influence of the three modes of material nature. That is also another meaning of Achyuta. So before fighting, Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. So before fighting, Arjuna wants to see who all have come to fight. He wants to see birds of the same feather flock together, right? So who all have come to fight with Duryodhana? And he wants to get an estimation, and Prabhupada says Krishna likes his devotees order him. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, let me share some verses I was reading. In chapter 4 of Adi Leela. So, this is chapter 4 of Adi Leela. And actually, it's also in the Bhagavatam. 1 minute. Yeah. Krishna likes that his devotees order him. So, if you look at the 10th canto, 11th chapter, verse number 7, the gopis would say, if you dance, my dear Krishna, then I shall give you half a sweet meat. So, Krishna takes great pleasure. This is the quality of Krishna that endears him most to the devotees, is that he is Bhakta Vatsal. He is very affectionate to devotees, and also he becomes subordinate to his devotees. This is a great quality of the Lord. And in Vrindavan, you find this very much. And even here, in this, Arjuna is telling Krishna, Krishna, take my chariot, hey driver, you take my chariot between the two armies. I want to see who has come to fight. So, in the Bhagavatam, let me share my screen. The gopis would say, if you dance, my dear Krishna, then I shall give you half a sweetmeat. So they're tempting Krishna. By saying these words or by clapping their hands, all the gopis encourage Krishna in different ways. At such times, although he was the supreme powerful personality of Godhead, he would smile and dance according to their desire, as if he were a wooden doll in their hands. Sometimes he would sing very loudly at their bidding. So they would say, Krishna, sing. And Krishna would sing very loudly. In this way, Krishna came completely under the control of the gopis. So then, sometimes Mother Yashoda and her gopi friends would tell Krishna, bring this article or bring that article. We have a nice picture where Krishna is carrying the shoes of Nanda Baba. Sometimes they would order him to bring a wooden plank, wooden shoes, or a wooden measuring pot. And Krishna, when thus ordered by the mothers, would try to bring them. So then how would Krishna go? Sometimes, however, as if unable to raise these things, he would touch them and stand there. So he would go to the thing that they have asked him to bring, and then he would think, can I lift it? Can I not lift it? He would be like perplexed. And just to invite the pleasure of his relatives, he would strike his body with his arms like this to show that he had sufficient strength. And then he would bring with great difficulty, like Nanda Baba's shoes and like that. So Krishna warns that devotees, hmm, devotees should what? They should order him. Of course, now these devotees are pure devotees. We cannot imitate. But in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, it is mentioned, Sakala Jagate More Kare Vidhi Bhakti Vraja Bhava, Paite Nahi Shakti. So he says, everywhere in this world, people worship me according to scriptural injunctions. But simply by following such regulative principles, one cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotees in Rajabhumi. So Krishna warns that somebody should chastise him. So here he says, if one regards me as the Supreme Lord and himself as a subordinate, I do not become subservient to his love, nor it can control me. So then he says, Mora putra, mora sakha, mora pranapati, ei bhave yei more kare shuddha bhakti, apana ke bada mane, amare samahin, shei bhave hoy ami tahara adhin. If one cherishes pure loving devotion to me, thinking of me as his son, Mora Putra, Mora Sakha, or his beloved, regarding himself as great and considering me his equal, like friends consider his equal, or inferior, like that is Vatsalya Ras and Madhurya Ras sometimes, I become subordinate to him. So then Krishna was thinking, everybody worships me in Vedi Bhakti, and Lord is great, but then they can only go to Vaikuntha. They cannot go to Vraj by this kind of bhakti. So he came as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and if we worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to get Raganuga Bhakti, to get Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous, you have to worship a Ragatmika Bhakta. A Ragatmika Bhakta means those devotees who have spontaneous devotion for Krishna. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj, I was hearing, he often used to say this. So where did it go? Mhm. So he says, when we worship Lord Chaitanya, you see, following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the purpose of Krishna's appearance has been revealed. And this has been said that after revealing his pastimes in Vrindavan, Krishna considered that I revealed my Vraj Leela, but how will anybody ever enter into this Vraj pastime of mine? Because a devotee will naturally render service in Vaidhi Bhakti, means following the rules and regulations, considering the Lord as superior. And by serving in Vaidhi Bhakti, when he achieves perfection, he'll go to Vaikuntha. So serving Vaidhi Bhakti will go take him to Vaikuntha. So he won't be able to come to Vrindavan, because from Vaikuntha he cannot go to Vrindavan. Therefore, Krishna decided to come as a devotee. Now, when that devotee Krishna is served through Vaidhi Bhakti, then he becomes qualified to enter into Vrindavan. You see, when the Supreme Personality of God himself is served by Vaidhi Bhakti, then he goes to Vaikuntha. So when the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a devotee is served through Vaidhi Bhakti, that is the way to go to Vrindavan. So without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, we cannot enter into Radha Krishna's pastimes. That is, we say it like that, right? So one consideration is that when one serves Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? They are saying Krishna. Not only Krishna, Radha Krishna. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna nahi anya. So when one achieves the perfection of serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sees Radha Krishna. Just as Ramananda Rai, he saw Radha Krishna. So that is one way to understand it. And the other way to understand it is Vaidhi Bhakti leads to Vaikuntha and Raganuga Bhakti leads to Vrindavan. Now here is the problem. Devotee will always serve the Lord in Vaidhi Bhakti, right? So devotees will not jump into Raganuga Bhakti. So this is a problem that many devotees in ISKCON are being misled by some people saying that they are claiming, I'll give you Raganuga Bhakti. So some people are saying, oh, Prabhupada didn't give everything. You should come to me. I'll give you Raganuga. Swami Maharaj gave you Vaidhi Bhakti. Swami Maharaj means Prabhupada. I'll give you Raganuga Bhakti. But the point is, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatri Vidhim Vina Ekantaki Harir Bhakti Utpade Vakalpate. The Rupa Goswami has said. Without following the rules and regulations, we cannot worship. It will be a disturbance. So to get to Raganuga Bhakti, we have to be in association with a Ragatmika Bhakta. The Vrajvasis are Ragatmika Bhakta. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radharani. Right? Radharani is the greatest of Ragatmika Bhakta. So this is how Vaidhi Bhakti gets transformed into Raganuga Bhakti. And that is how in our movement we worship Lord Chaitanya, because he's the Yuga Avatar, right? So, and we worship him, and that way we get this Raganuga Bhakti. Anyway, this is just a side thing. It's not so 1 minute. Back to the So the Lord, the servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord. So Krishna likes to serve his devotees. And so Prabhupada says, Arjuna is not fighting because of greed. Even one village would have satisfied him. But when Duryodhan said that he cannot give up even little land, which will hold the tip of a needle, so then the fight was there. So Arjuna picked up his bow and he was ready to shoot his arrows. Okay, so text 23. So we'll take a little pause here. It's 21:20. So any comments or anything so far? 9:20. Okay. So we'll see the questions that we have to do. I will send you the questions. So what we will do is I'll send you those questions on Nectar of Instruction. You can write the answers and send it back to me. And then we will have a test, which will be from these questions that I'm going to send you. But that you will have to answer without C. And I don't know how we will do that, because I don't know, some people are not in town here. So maybe you can find some devotee who will supervise you, and then you have to write. It's okay? Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Then we'll go to Ishmael next. Okay. So, so here he wants to see who all are supporting Duryodhana. And already some indecisiveness has been coming. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Who all have come to fight? So now the next verse. Sanjay Uvacha Eva Mukto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata Senayorubhayor Madhye Sthapayitvarathottamam. Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharat, having thus been addressed by Arjun, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot between the armies of both parties. So Arjuna is addressed here as Gudakesh. Prabhupada says is addressed as Gudakesh. Isha means the master, and Guda means ignorance or sleep. So Arjuna is addressed as Gudakesh because he had conquered sleep. At night also, he was practicing, right? He was so determined, and he was the best in archery at that time, Dronacharya's best student. So he was not, and he had also conquered ignorance. Even in his sleep, there's a pastime, right? Even in his sleep, Arjuna was remembering Krishna. One time, Krishna and Arjuna came to Dwarka, and they were like, what happened in Dwarka? I think they were tired. So Arjuna was tired. So Arjuna, he went to the guest house a little bit away to sleep. And in the meantime, Rukmini prepared a nice meal, and said, yeah, please come, Krishna and Arjun, please come. Krishna said, I will wait for Arjuna to get up. But some time passed, and Arjuna did not come. So Krishna said, go and see what Arjuna is doing. So Arjuna was sleeping. Rukmini went there. And when she went there, Arjuna was in his sleep. He was chanting Krishna, Krishna, like that, Krishna's name he was chanting. And then so she became so enthused, she started clapping her hands. Then now Rukmini didn't come back. She was also there. Arjuna was sleeping. He was chanting Krishna, Krishna. Then Narad Muni came. So Narad Muni came and he was there. Krishna said, Rukmini has not come. The food is getting cold and Rukmini didn't come. Can you go and see what happened? Why Arjuna is not awake yet? So he went there, and then he saw Arjuna was chanting Krishna's names. Rukmini was clapping her hands, and then Narad Muni came. So he started playing his veena because now the kirtan is going on. There is clapping of hands. Then I think Satyabhama came. And Satyabhama, she came because none of them, Rukmini didn't come, Narad Muni didn't come. Satyabhama went there and seeing both of them clapping and playing his veena, and Satyabhama started dancing. And and then finally Krishna thought, nobody has come, let me go myself. So he came and he saw Arjuna was sleeping and he was chanting Krishna's name. So Arjuna actually started massaging the feet of Arjuna. Krishna started massaging the feet of Arjuna. And Arjun woke up. Arjun said, my dear Lord, what are you doing? And Lord said, Arjuna, you have so much love for me that even in your sleep, you cannot forget me. And you are so dear to me because of that. So Arjuna was like that. He was very Krishna conscious, even in his sleep. And he was remembering Krishna. So either in waking or in sleep, Khaite Suite, there's a verse like that. Khaite Suite.
यथा तथा नाम ले काल देश नियम नहीं सर्व सिद्धि होए
Kala desha niyam nahi sarvasid. Khaite suite yatha tatha nam loy. So even in sleep, suite means in sleep. While eating, while every time you chant Krishna's name. So Arjun was like that. Even in sleep, he was chanting Krishna's name. And so this is called Samadhi, Prabhupada says. Simply thinking of Krishna constantly. Because you have love for Krishna, so you always think of that is the highest thing. To always think of Krishna. Ananya chetaha satadam. Ananya chetaha satadam.
यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभः
Krishna
पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः.
says, I'm very easy to achieve if you always remember me. So we should always remember Krishna. As much as possible during our day, we should remember Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. And Krishna should be on our mind. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. So we have beautiful deities, we have beautiful paintings of the Leelas of the Lord. And in this way, if we remember Krishna always, that is the ultimately the goal of life. And of course, when our love awakens, then automatically we'll remember Krishna. How can we feel love of Krishna? Well, Krishna has done so much for us. So much he has given us, right? Starting with this human body. So how much we should be grateful to Krishna. Oh, Krishna, one symptom of love is gratitude. You feel so much indebted to Krishna. Krishna, we take things for granted, right? We have eyes, we have hands, and everything we have. But it's a gift from Krishna. We have this human form of life. We have the association of devotees. We have Prabhupada's books. So how much we should be indebted to Krishna, and all the other material things that we have for our sustenance is all coming from Krishna. So when we feel very indebted to Krishna, then we can experience his love. Okay, how much Krishna loves us. Krishna consciousness means to recognize how much love Krishna has for us. So then in return, I should love him back because he loves me so much. So in this way, we can also become Krishna conscious. Okay, so Arjuna was in Samadhi, and Krishna put the chariot right in front of Bhishma and Drona. There were hundreds of warriors on the battlefield, but the next verse says, Bhishma Drona pramukhata sarvesham cha mahishitam uvacha partha pasyetan samavetan kuruniti. Pramukhata, right in the face of Bhishma and Drona, Krishna took the chariot. I mean, he said, take me between the two armies, but he could have taken, because they were all spread out, because there are 11 Akshahonis. But Krishna is also anticipating the speaking of Bhagavad Gita, and so he took it right in front of Bhishma and Drona, because Arjuna had soft corner for. So Arjuna would have a nervous breakdown and Bhagavad Gita can be spoken. So Arjuna was put into bewilderment by Krishna. Prabhupada writes in the introduction, so that Bhagavad Gita could be spoken. Similarly, Parikshit Maharaj, right? How could he behave the way he did? How did he garland Samik Rishi with a snake? It is very difficult to think that such a great king like Parikshit Maharaj would lose his temper and he would garland. But this is also so that Bhagavatam could be spoken. That same Parikshit Maharaj, who could not tolerate hunger and thirst, then when he sat down to hear Bhagavatam for 7 days and 7 nights, he did not sleep, he did not drink, he did not eat. So this was all arrangement of the Lord, so that Srimad Bhagavatam could be spoken. And Parikshit Maharaj could be brought home faster, like in 7 days, Parikshit Maharaj. That person who protected Parikshit Maharaj in the womb, right? That's why it's called Vishnu Rat, is now not protecting Parikshit Maharaj, right? When he got the curse, he's not protecting Parikshit because he wants now Parikshit Maharaj to come back to him. So here, in the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. So Krishna also understood what was going on when he told to take his chariot between the two armies. Of course, the conch shell had blown, so the fighting should have immediately started. But Arjuna's little bit indecisiveness already had started creeping in Arjuna. So he told, please take my chariot between the two armies. And Krishna also took his chariot between the two armies right in front of Bhishma and Drona. Okay. So, yeah, we can stop here. From 126, we will read. Next. Anybody has any comments? Slate. Any comments? No. Anybody there?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.